Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu Female Force, dem Podcast für Feminismus mit gesundem Menschenverstand. Mein Name ist Homeira Leopoldsberger. Ich möchte euch Mut machen, andere Perspektiven aufzeigen und euch ganz besondere Powerfrauen vorstellen. Schön, dass du dabei bist. Hello and welcome to Female Force. Today we're going to talk about the women's situation in Afghanistan. My guest is the Honorable Mahbuba Seraj, journalist and women's rights activist in Afghanistan. Mrs. Seraj, last year you won Finland's International Gender Equality Prize. How do you feel about that?
It was an absolute pleasure. By the way, thank you very much for having me on your show. It's a pleasure for me to be here also with you. Getting that prize from Finland, especially after being, how shall I say, refused by Nobel Peace Prize, which I thought we were both on the same. Myself and Narges from Iran, we were both on the same paper, on the same, our names are together for winning, and we were both nominated, but it didn't happen. So after that, it was absolutely a most pleasurable event, and that I went through in accepting that prize for the women of Afghanistan, for the men and women of Afghanistan, actually mainly for the women of Afghanistan and for my organization. I'm really very grateful to the government of Finland, very much so.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you already said that you were nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, which Narges Mohammadi won, but what a beacon of light for generations to aspire to. I mean, are you really aware of you being a role model to so many young women in Afghanistan and throughout the world, Afghan women especially?
Thank you. I guess I'm just doing my job. That's it.
It's doing your job. Yeah. Very humble, very humble. Okay. You have been criticized quite often for talking to the Taliban. Do you think the opinion is going to change towards talking to the Taliban as the only way for a solution in that region? You have been criticized quite often for talking to the Taliban. Do you think the opinion is going to change towards talking to the Taliban as the only way for a solution in that region?
I said to bring about an understanding amongst us, the people of Afghanistan and the Taliban, that we have to sit down and talk to each other. If we don't sit down and talk and find out exactly who can do what for whom, this is not going to happen. And everything is going to be as bad as it is, and life is going to be miserable for the women of Afghanistan. And that to me is not acceptable at all. At all.
That's right. We all know the pictures of Afghan women in the 60s and 70s, which are going around the world wearing short skirts and very modern westernized clothes. But actually, that was only in Kabul or some other big cities and not in the rural areas. So is liberation with Western standards wanted and needed by the women in Afghanistan? You talk a lot with women on the ground. What is their desire, actually?
Their desire at this point is absolutely not the westernization of the Afghan woman at all. No way, shape, or form. They don't have any problem with the burqa. They don't have, with the hijab, not the burqa. They do have a problem because it covers their face. But they don't have any problem with the hijab. And they always are covered up. The women of Afghanistan are mostly and always they have been extremely respectful to the hijab for the women of this country, always, although at one point we were all westernized to, somewhat, or the people of the Kabul city were. But that is not the picture of all of Afghanistan. The picture of all of Afghanistan is a picture of the women that are really modestly dressed and they're covered, but they are the women that they go to work, they go to school, they have nothing more, nothing less. And a part of that fundamental right, education is number one.
It was, they go to school, and then there was, I didn't hear anything.
I said to go to school is number one. What they want, having access to education and to school that's their number one priority. Of course, having access to work in order for them to be able to support their families and bring bread on the dastarkhan, that's their priority number two. But at the same time, these are their priorities, and those are our rights as well. And this is the only thing we really are asking, and we should come up in obtaining that. That's our right. That's all there is to it. And that's what I'm fighting for.
So what is your path to a much needed relief and liberty for women and girls in Afghanistan? What is your plan?
Well, my path so far really has been mainly to talk and to talk more, although the Taliban are not amongst the ones that they have talked to me. But then the thing is that even amongst the group of Taliban, one has to really talk to the headman, for the rest of them, because they are not making any decision. So it's not really, how shall I say? Maybe it's not as necessary, but the person that's on top and is making the decisions, his mind has to be changed somehow, and he has to be more flexible. He has to become more flexible and accepting that the women of Afghanistan are human beings and they need to be treated like human beings, and for the fundamental rights to be given to them. So that's what it is. And right now, really, most of my talks are mainly with the international community. And the reason why it is with the international community is because I believe they are as responsible to the future and the fate of the Afghan women as the Taliban. So that's why I'm talking to them, and I want them to be involved and kind of share the responsibility of what's going on in Afghanistan.
But still, you have to have a lot of patience, and people say there's no hope actually in Afghanistan. But what makes you stay in Afghanistan and still fight?
Well, the kind of the women that I have around me, because I am actually on the ground and working and I see them every day. The women and the kids that are around me, they really get frustrated. I can't say. They really get, depressed and frustrated, and sometimes maybe hopeless, but never, for a long period of time, because we cannot afford that. We cannot afford to become completely hopeless people, because that is what is actually making us live, making us walk around, making us do things, giving us the strength to actually be of help and use and of assistance to our own people. So to me is the same thing. I'm going to be 76 years old, inshallah, if God allows, in the next 2-3 months. But I am, and this is not my time to go around and fight for other people's, for my sister's right, younger than me, and maybe my age and older than me, and all of the men and women of Afghanistan. But I'm doing it because I do believe it is extremely necessary that we have to do that. Because, this is something that somebody has got to do it. And I'm here right now, and I'm going to do it. And I want to keep on doing it for as long as I'm alive. And as long as I can keep on doing this, I will continue doing it.
Great. This is great news for us to hear, because you are heard actually by the Taliban. You are heard. You are a voice which is heard, and most of the voices are not heard. So another interesting question to me is, besides the Taliban, which are of course male, all of them, what do other Afghan men...
Besides the Taliban, who?
Other Afghan men in Afghanistan on the ground. What do they think about women's rights? No, I mean, the Taliban, of course, they have their position towards women's rights. But what about the male population in Afghanistan? What do they think about women's rights?
Well, it's pretty interesting. It's really interesting, because I do talk to them always, all the time. They are in a very strangely passive mood. They really are. They are in a passive state in their life. They kind of I believe maybe they believe also that this is something that the women of Afghanistan are doing, so they just want to leave it to us to do that, I guess. I think. So they are going about their lives. They are working. They are trying to do the best that they can, because the situation for everybody in Afghanistan is really so bad and dire. It really is. As far as work is concerned, as far as health is concerned, as far as access is concerned, as far as access to jobs, to money, to health facilities, to doctors, to everything and anything that you can think of. So I'm not saying, they are trying their best, the best that they know how to. But then and also the other thing is that if we don't get together and form an alliance in Afghanistan amongst the people of Afghanistan, really, with all of us involved in it, this is not something that that people can do individually or in groups, or they can do it by having a war. We can't fight this. Having a war again, fighting and killing each other is not the answer. We did that for 44 years, my dear. So how are we going to continue doing that? If it was going to have a result, it would have had a result a long time ago. But
right.
But but it hasn't. It really hasn't. So we'll see what is going to be happening. I have no idea.
Yes, actually, I had a discussion with a professor here at the university in Passau, and we had the same opinion that one of the most complex conflicts in the world is the Afghanistan conflict, because it has been going on for many years, and over 40 years now, and there are so many parties involved, and it gets worse and worse. And as a question for me is, you are doing this for a long time too. And what I'm always asking myself is, how do you cope with the situation emotionally, seeing all this with your own eyes, all these changes, these aspirations, and then just falling down again? What gives you the strength to move on?
There are days, believe me, that I can't even face myself. I promise you. There are days when I cannot even get out of bed. I'm in that bad shape. But then in general, and mostly, I do get out of bed, and I do go around, and I do my work, and I stand up, and I try to. Number one, because I really do believe in Allah, and I know that, I'm a Muslim, and Allah is going to help me, and is going to help all of us. Number two is because I know none of these things are going to last. I know that. Nothing has lasted in Afghanistan, and this is not going to last either. Just by, I'm a student of history. Just by looking through history of this country, how many years each one of these so-called leaders of Afghanistan had a place, to continue to run this country and to be the leaders of the people of Afghanistan. Apart from King Rajah, which was for 40 years, I don't remember anybody else, for that long. They all had their turn, and one day is one person, one day is another, one day is another, one day is another, one day is another. But the worst thing about it is that all of these things that are happening in Afghanistan are making us weaker, are making the people of Afghanistan weaker. And for that, as it continues like this, with how shall I say, with no result, and with not knowing our future, not knowing our destiny, not knowing where we are going, how all of this happened, what is going to be the next step, where our food is coming tomorrow, where our everything in life is going to be coming to my country, to our country. We are going to be in a very bad shape. So that is something that is really hurting us, apart from a lot of other things. That's also. So I try to find a way, because of the, I don't want to give in to hopelessness. Absolutely not, because that will kill me and destroy me. I cannot do that. And that not only will kill me and destroy me, It will kill everybody and all of these women and girls and the ones that they are in Afghanistan, and they do depend on me. And believe it or not, I know you might not know it, but a lot of people do depend on me. They really do. There's quite a huge group of the women. Not a whole lot of people know about this because I'm a very down-to-earth human being. I don't talk about it. It's not for me to brag about it. There's no bragging. This is what it is. This is a reality. And that's why I'm standing here, and I'm going to stand until my last breath in Afghanistan, and I'm going to be working with them and for them. That to me is very clear, very clear.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not easy at all. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
That's what I believe. Yes.
And then especially when people don't understand how difficult it really is, and they all come up with these ideas of doing this and doing that, and why don't we do this and why don't we do that? No, it's not really that easy at all. It's a lot of trouble,
Mm-hmm.
But we have to find a way for it, honestly. Like right now, one of the things that I'm thinking, apart from other things that I'm thinking about the climate change in Afghanistan. Look at it. We the whole winter we did not have one drop of rain in this country. So it's been 4 nights that now is raining, and with all of this rain, there is going to be now floods starting, and those floods are going to destroy us. And we have no preparation to stand against any one of these natural disasters. God forbid if there is another zilzala like the one in Herat. It's going to destroy us. If it happens in 2 parts of Afghanistan, we are doomed. Mm-hmm. At the same time, the de facto government is selling all of our mines to the world, to whoever is buying it. That is the fortune of the people of Afghanistan. It is not supposed to be sold like that without us knowing to whom, for how long, how, and what. We have no idea.
Mm.
They cannot be doing that. But that is happening because Afghanistan has no constitution. So there is no law that can hold them responsible. No, none.
Right.
So there it is. All of these things needs to be taken care of. We have to do something about it. We really have to. Otherwise, what's the point?
Mm.
I mean, it's just talking, or it's just each one of these leaders of the Mujahideen, now kind of their head is poking out of different corners of the world. What for? What are you doing? You couldn't do anything for the past 20 something years when the whole power of the world was behind you. Why didn't you damn thing for Afghanistan? Why? Why not? Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you think of the right thing to do for this country? Why? This is not right. But it's happening. So somebody has to stand. We have to stand up by it. We have to talk about it. Have to raise our voice. Have to let the world know. Have to let each other know. And do something. Really.
Yes, that's what you said. There are many things in Afghanistan which are not in our control, in our human being control. Like you said, the earthquakes and the floods and the rain, the climate change. We can't really change that as fast as we want to do it. That's a big problem in Afghanistan. And there's no infrastructure caused by the war, etc., etc. But what we could do is just stand together, as you said. If you would have one wish which would be 100% fulfilled, which wish would that be?
To have an Afghanistan with all of its people, everybody that is from this country, every different ethnicities, different religions, different everybody, to live together, be together, give their hands hand in hand together, and start working for Afghanistan by creating something, by making something, by by having actually creating something. So we can call it Made in Afghanistan, and it would be good for us and for the world, but mainly for us in the beginning. So we don't have to, look at the world for every single thing that we need. I want it to be ours. I want it to be from our work and our how shall I say, our decision and our commitment that we want for this land and for the people of this country. That's what I want. And then for the rest of it, I just, it is what it is. So I hope that everybody will be able to have a life, because things are so bad in here. I'm involved with families here, Humayra, that there are families that they are really sick. They have lots of health problems, so many health problems. And anytime a family will go by, will make it happen with, as they call it, a little bit of bread in a cup of tea, maybe a lot of people can find, and their neighbors will give it to them. But when there is a disease, when there is a sickness, when there is a child is in bad shape, or an older person, or a mother, mainly they are like that, then the whole family, the structure of whatever it is, it collapses, because, they need money to go to the doctor, get themselves to the doctor, get themselves to a hospital. And it is so hard. It is so hard on all of them. And that did not, nobody did anything about it. I mean, even at the time when there was the presidency and everything in Afghanistan with millions of possibility, even then we did not have a proper hospital in Afghanistan or in Kabul that everybody could go to and get cured. We had to take all of our sick people to Pakistan and India. But now, now is the same thing. It's the same thing. Because, we don't have anything here. And now it's a lot worse because there's not even a nurse in any one of these hospitals. Because the women nurses and doctors are gone. They don't allow them to work.
Yes.
So
that's quite a catastrophe. That's true. But
it really is. It really is.
Yes, it is.
That's exactly what it is. It's a catastrophe.
Yes.
It really is, John.
But let me tell you one thing, Mrs. Seraj. I want to thank you, not just from my side, but from the side of many other people, not only Afghan, but the whole people I know and talk about concerning you and your work. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you do, for all your strength, for all your patience, and all these things you do for us. In the diaspora, we are looking just on you, all eyes on you, what you can achieve, what you can do, because I think it is very important that women like you, who are also elder and heard and are descendant of King Abdurrahman, I have to say that, with all the respect, Bibi Seraj, that you are doing this work. It is not something you have to do. It's not, you have this on your shoulders as a burden, I believe. And you could have a happy life and everywhere in the whole world. You could just live very happily, but you don't do that. You are on the ground fighting for us. And that's what I just wanted to thank you for. And thank you for your time.
It's my honor, sweetheart. It's my honor, especially when I come across amazing ladies like yourself. It's my honor. It's my honor to be of any kind of service to my people. And I mean that with all of my heart. Mm-hmm. It's my honor.
Thank you very much.
This is something that I'll do it because I have to do it. I want to do it. And it has to be done. So, yeah.
Thank you. All the best for the future, and we'll stay in contact and maybe have an updated and very hopeful interview.
Thank you, sweetheart. Inshallah. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your interest. Bye, Homai.
Bye.
Danke, dass du heute dabei warst. Falls du ein Wunschthema hast oder dich austauschen möchtest, sende mir gerne eine E-Mail. Die Infos findest du in den Shownotes. Bis zum nächsten Mal.